Detached means we are not looking forward to also material things unnecessarily. If I have it, it's good. If I don't have it, I'm okay. I'm still satisfied. So that's been detached. Yeah. One who's attached means, oh, he has it, I have to have it. Competition. And we don't want that. Yeah. Actually, that doesn't make sense, just hitting like. Where in Shastra it says so. You all have to review these things. Shri Shri Gautai ki jai, Shri Shri Jagannath Babu Subhadra Mai ki jai.
So I came about by someone thinking that, if I blow it, it will interrupt what you're saying, so therefore I'll just let it.
Yeah, but we don't do that.
Yeah.
You don't need to do it. Then don't blow the conch. You're supposed to blow conch, not hit it. Okay, and the other quality that we have to develop is being compassionate. Compassionate not just to newcomers, compassionate among yourselves also. Right? Once you become devotee, no compassion. Right? The way we treat each other, go to hell. Right? So compassion means to everyone. The greatest compassion is giving people Krishna consciousness. That's the biggest compassion, giving them the ability to connect with Krishna's Krishna consciousness. So devotee is always compassion, has always compassion for others. So we have to cultivate that quality. We meet people, we speak about Krishna. Among ourselves, we check on our welfare, how each individual is doing. Yeah. If you don't see someone, you call, ask them, are they okay? Do they need something? Yeah. So these are important things to practice, to develop these qualities. And then ultimately, one of the things that is very important is to be steady. Steady means more or less regulated. Regulation, not random, just regular, be very regulated. You have fixed times and you follow that daily basis for the rest of your life, unless you are sick. Otherwise you should not randomly do things. Of course, having said all this, one of the 26 qualities of a Vaishnava is Krishnaika Sharanam. That means surrendering to Krishna. It says that that is the most important quality. So each and every one of us must learn how to surrender to Krishna. That's the most important. If you can do that, all the other qualities will be manifesting automatically. Yashyasti bhakti bhagavati akinchana sarve gunestatra samasita suraha. That means you will develop all the wonderful qualities of the demigods also. Automatically, once you surrender to Krishna. So that's highlighted in the Shastra. This particular verse is in the 5th canto. Yeah. 18th chapter, I think. Yeah. And then in the Madhya Leela, Mahaprabhu says, Sarva Mahaguna Gana Vaishnava Sarire Krishna Bhakti Krishna Raguna Sakele Sanchari. A Vaishnava is one who has developed all good transcendental qualities. All the good qualities of Krishna gradually develop in Krishna's devotees. So we need to first surrender and understand why we surrender also. Okay? Yeah, doing that is not a good quality. So we don't want to do that, right? Application. Very important. Alright. Okay, so you can check in the Srila Prabhupada's books those qualities, and then you can ask yourself, can I develop each quality? You can actually, by practicing, you can develop those qualities. But as I said, if you completely surrender to Krishna, all these qualities will manifest automatically. But there's no harm in practicing, This week I will be very humble. Next week I will tolerate. Yeah, so when you do that, you will have some realization of what a pure devotee is also, genuinely what they go through. And you can see the challenges that you, with your mind, can face. But when you realize that, then you also can appreciate how exalted devotees are. So that's good to actually try to practice. Be humble, go and serve devotees, and then you see how much ego you have. How difficult, right? To control your ego and so on. The other thing is also, as you practice, you should all journal. Keep a journal, write down the practice that you tried and what are some of your realizations. The journal is, as I mentioned, is a journal you're writing to your deities. Today I failed. And then you can write, your realizations. And then actually it's very revealing. Because it's an introspection, the journal will help you to meet with senior devotees and get feedback from them. Say, I tried this is what I saw, this is what I felt, any suggestions, any help, then we can make more progress like that. And of course, if you did something well, you can thank the Lord and thank the devotees. Be grateful, that's the most important thing. Yeah. And on top of all this, we should become very... we should understand that we are all servants of Krishna. Theoretically we know that, everyone knows I'm a spirit, soul and so on, but we don't practice that behavior. Once you're on your own devices, then you're not thinking like you're the servant anymore. Right? When you go home, you don't think you're a servant, you think you're the master. Right? You think like that. So therefore you have problems, because when you think like a master, it's called Purusha Bhava, controlling tendency. So you see things you can't control, you become disturbed. But when you understand that you're a spirit soul and these things are happening due to many factors, forces, your own karma and so on, then you'll get peace also. You understand, yes, this will happen. You're not overwhelmed by the difficulties you see. And then, because you identify yourself as a soul, then you know what your duty is, first and foremost. You will appreciate that this is the duty I do. And then you understand what your... there's two kinds of duty. One is the duty towards the Supreme Lord as a spirit soul. The other duty is duty with your material situation. Okay? So you'll understand clearly how to behave. And because you can identify yourself as a soul, and because you know what your duties are, it becomes easier again to surrender. So therefore, these practices are very important. And as I say, if you do these things properly, you will have inner peace. You are not disturbed anymore, because you see everything in the right perspective. Okay. Now your peace, you will lose your peace when the following things can happen. If you have too much ego, then your tendency is to want things the way you want it. You want to control things. And then you find you can't control everything in your life. Therefore you will become disturbed. So then no peace. And remember at the beginning we were saying about detachment. So if you are attached also very much, then you will be disturbed again. If your attachment is disturbed by some other forces. Right? You're too attached to certain results. You want your sons to do something, but they don't do. You get disturbed. So peace is again lost by the fact that there's attachment to or in office space, which I mentioned many times, you are attached to getting the promotion. And then the last moment, your boss says, yes, you'll get it. Last moment, they hire from outside. Right? And then how you feel? Because you are so attached, your peace is lost. You can't work for the whole day and you send on Facebook, X, is it X? Other platforms. And then you tell people, you try to be anonymous and say, I work and I was promised and now I didn't get it. And then who is the asshole, right? And then there's those kind of platforms, and then you ask, and the people some 50% will scold the boss, 50% will say you're a fool, and that. And so you have no peace. Because you rely on all these variables for your peace. Actually, your fact is you are Satchidananda, your spirit soul, so you don't need all these external material things to be peaceful. It's important. So your attachment causes problem, and then comparison, comparing yourself with someone else, competition materially, or family also, or they have 2 kids, we only have 1 kid. Having more kids, then you have to pay more bills, and then you become depressed, and the peace is gone, right? So many problems that we compare. We shouldn't compare because we all have our abilities. Some of us are divinely inspired, some of us are materially inspired. So therefore you can't compare like that. Even those who are materially inspired, the abilities are also different. And so when you start comparing, like for example, I mentioned this the other day, everyone goes to the same class, same teacher, same lessons, same homework, but then when the results come out, everyone has different grades. What gives? Right? Yeah. So then you start comparing, why he did well, the father will tell the son. How come you didn't get the grade? Your neighbor did better. I had a friend, I still have a friend, he was telling me this is in India, so he was telling me, he scored like 98% in one subject. His neighbor, his friend scored 98.5. So he said his father chastised him so much. So he said it was so unrealistic, Yeah. 0.5%. So comparison also causes a lot of distress. These are not qualities we want to develop. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't do all these things. Rather, we'll see how much I can serve Krishna. Those are the things you should think about and compare. The gopis think like that. Who can decorate Radha and Krishna beautifully? Who can pick the flower? Who can? These are the things they think about. The other problem we have, all of us, is that we overthink. And I mentioned this again, it causes problem, distress also. Things haven't happened, and we think of all the negativity. Right? You get a letter from school, Mrs. So-and-so, we would like to see you regarding your son's class, Then immediately you panic. And you cross-examine your son in the kitchen table, What did you do? so much distress for the kid and for the parent. No peace. Yeah. So peace is lost when we do all that, We have a very nice regulated life. We don't have to worry about all these things. Yeah. Of course, these things will still come in our daily activities throughout our life. We may come to one or two things that may disturb our stability. But when we practice, we are able to see things from a higher perspective. Otherwise, if we immerse ourselves into the problem itself, we get drowned by so many information, or too much information, and we don't know how to react properly. So we overthink. So how to get over these problems? One suggestion, a few suggestions that are given is, daily we read a sloka in Gita or Bhagavatam, and then read Srila Prabhupada's purport and meditate on it. And you write in your journal what your realization is about. That helps you focus on Krishna, the teachings of Prabhupada. So you understand your purpose better also. Okay? And then weekly have a well-wisher to assess your performance. In the workplace, they do a monthly, sometimes, right, assessment. I do not know what the current status is like. Weekly is just too much. But in some companies they do that. They drive you out the wall. And on a monthly basis, review what you have learned, what you have applied in your Krishna conscious activities, and what areas you can improve, and how you can improve those. So those are important things to apply. Otherwise, we don't know how to practice Krishna consciousness. In all this situation, you must have a mentor or a guide or someone who's your well-wisher. And then you can make tangible progress by following it nicely. Yeah. So when you apply all this, you understand the principles nicely. Krishna in chapter 4, the transcendental knowledge, in verse 38, he says, Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitramiha vidyate tat swayam yoga samsiddhaha kalenatmani vindati. In this world, there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is the mature fruit of all mysticism, and one who has achieved this enjoys the self within himself in due course of time. Right? You become peaceful. You're happy. A regular self-reflection is very important for devotees. Has to be on a regular basis. If you don't do that, then you don't know where you are heading. You don't know, you don't understand. So a regular self-reflection is important because it allows you to develop spiritual wisdom. Wisdom doesn't descend on you, It can, but at our stage it doesn't. Therefore, we have to practice. When we do any activities, when we practice what our motive is in doing certain activities, we become more reflective. Why am I doing this service for? You say, I actually don't like it. It's that guy, he told me to do it. So then it's become materialistic. But if you reflect and understand this, I'm trying to get closer to Krishna, then it's different. So do you see yourself getting closer to Krishna? You're on the altar next to Krishna and still you're not close. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. So therefore, a regular self-reflection is required. Question your motivation, question your beliefs. You have to question, do I believe in this? Then you will become more and more capable of actually becoming humble also. Because if you find that I want to go to Krishna but I don't believe in this thing, then you come in front and start crying. I can't understand you. Which is why we don't directly approach Krishna, because he's a very difficult person to understand. So we go through devotees. So we try to serve some advanced devotee. And that way you at least understand where you're moving. They can guide us like that. And then you can see your motivation also when you're under someone. Or they can see your motivation. And then they can guide you properly in the positive way. Yeah. As I mentioned, always have a few well-wishers in your community that are trustworthy. People who don't put things on Facebook unnecessarily. Yeah, right? You confess something and then tomorrow everybody knows that. So how do you guys know? Oh, it's in the Facebook. Yeah. So if you have trusted friends and mentors or well-wishers, they can always provide valuable feedback. But the feedback itself it's not complete. What you do with the feedback and how you approach that feedback, then you are complete. Yeah. Right? If someone tells you you need to do this better, that's a feedback. But if you don't act on the feedback, then it's useless. What it tells about us is that we don't value the feedback. More so, I don't really think you know what feedback to give me. Yeah. So, if you have guides and mentors, this applies all the way to the spiritual master also, because the spiritual master will give you feedback. And if you don't change or act on it, then you continue doing the same mistakes. Right? And generally, if sometimes when you serve senior, they tell you one time, you better remember, Otherwise, you will make them angry, and then you will then have many setbacks in your Krishna consciousness. And not only that, you can also, to develop spiritual wisdom, you can also read books on spirituality. That from different traditions like Sri Sampradaya and so on, Ramanujacharya's teachings and so on, but not on your own, but through a guide. At least you get more wisdom, or get someone who reads Mahabharata and tell them to tell you some wise stories so that you can apply in your life. So that's important for our regular self-reflection. Of course, we cannot be so narrow-minded in the way we see things also. We should also practice in such a way that we are curious and open to new perspectives. What we see is not all in all, Sometimes a person can see it slightly different, and it may open up a channel where you can actually flourish better in your Krishna consciousness. So therefore, we should be curious enough to be able to understand things and open to new perspectives. If someone says something differently, you should find out why did they come to that conclusion. Why I don't see that. Therefore, we train ourselves to our intellect to become more broadly or open-minded. Like that. And one of the most important things is in many things we do in life is that there's always going to be something that you will be successful and some things you will fail. Although your intention is always good, but it's inevitable. We will fail in some things and we will be successful in it. So we have to learn from both. When we are successful, we become grateful. When we fail, we should become thoughtful, yes. Introspective, yes. What else? Humble, yes, very good. Yeah. These are all very important. So the more you think about it, then these are all positive things that will help you become a better practitioner of Krishna consciousness. Sometimes in Bhagavad Gita or even in the Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada will write in a purport, you may not understand it. And so it will be nice to have a conversation with someone who understands and then discuss it so that you finally understand what it is. Right? Oftentimes okay, I don't understand, it's okay, I don't want to know about it.
Yeah.
No, you should go and find out why this person, they all shook their heads and I couldn't shake my head. And then you go and ask them, you find out they didn't know either. That's all they know of this possibility. Yeah. So that means challenging conversations and ideas are also important in our journey towards complete understanding of the practice of Krishna consciousness. It's important. Of course, having so much knowledge also will make us think we are intellectually competent, But one of the things that we find in the Gita is that we should also have intellectual humility. Yeah. What is that? It means that although I know quite a lot, I still don't know as much as that guy. I accept that. And acknowledge that this person knows more than me. I'm not as good as this person. So we have to practice intellectual humility also. It's very important. And we should also sometimes know that I always understood it this way, but now I realize it was wrong. Okay? And we should be forthcoming in saying, yes, I did not understand it properly. And as I mentioned earlier, people may have different way of looking at things, perspectives, and when their perspective comes out, it reveals a greater truth than what you understood. So then we accept that. And that's also intellectual humility. It is not about doubting myself. It's more about I didn't understand. Or I don't have the capacity to know that clearly. Yeah. And so it allows us to stay open and curious and as well as grounded. So intellectual humility is a discipline of being confident of what I know, while at the same time accepting that there is something else I don't know. Okay? Yeah. So what does it do? It makes us a better learner. That's what we want to do, learn. We don't want to always present ourselves as the knower, the all-knowing, all-seeing force. That's Krishna. No, we want to learn. So it makes us a better learner. And then not only that, when we acknowledge someone is better than us, our relationship grows stronger. And the other person will feel humbled also. Wow, he's thinking I'm better. And so the relationship becomes more genial and nice. You know? And on top of that, conflicts will get minimized. We don't have much conflict because the person recognizes that this guy has accepted me to be superior in some way, so there can't be conflict. And not only that, more than that is, as you relate with such manner in a humble way in terms of that intellectual humility, you will also be able to make better decisions because they have given you a better perspective. So you can use that to apply in your own life to make better choices. Right? Yeah. Yeah. So otherwise we are just like rigid. This rule cannot shift. It makes us become genuine devotees who are willing to grow. Yeah. Okay. Now the Gita also allows you to develop spiritual strength, and how does it help us? Strength through knowledge. How does it help us? It helps us by understanding our own nature. When we are young and immature, we may not clearly know what's happening, but when we read the Gita and so on, then you realize I have this much passion. I really don't have much goodness in me. Or you're openly in a humble way saying, I'm actually a Shudra. I can see I'm a Shudra. And then you're confident now. You're not thinking that you are worse than the other person. So this is strength through knowledge. That I can accept my position, my nature. Because we are a combination of the three modes, and there are 4 varnas, so that means each varna has, one Maharaj was saying, Hanuman Prasad Swami was saying, the 3 modes in 4, so they all have a combination of that. So he said they have 4 elements of these 3 modes. Right? So a person who is Brahmin can have Brahmana, Shudra. So he has both qualities equally, Brahmin and Shudra. Or he can have Brahmana, Shudra. Because Kalo Shudra, so everyone has that Shudra quality. Yeah. Or he can have Brahmana, Kshatriya, Shudra. Or Brahmana, Vaishya, Shudra. You understand? So these qualities can be a combination. So we get to know what we are. We do puja and then next thing we call on the phone and say, buy this stock and then, business. So sometimes you find that they are very good, they're very clean and so on. They have that Brahminical tendency, but they are Vaishyas. Or when they talk to you, they're always calculating what advantages they can get. So that mentality is like a Vaishya. Or you find someone who's always standing up for another person, so this person has Kshatriya qualities like that. So you find these things are there. Or someone who's lazy but he's always reading and so on. So you can know this guy is Brahman and also Shudra. He has both qualities. Because this is Kali Yuga. We have mixture. So it's very hard sometimes to push someone. But how we separate them is that which attracts them most. Right? If their tendency is to do Brahminical activities, then we guide them in that way. But everyone wants to be Brahmanas when they are not. So this causes problem again, because we are not willing to accept our nature. So therefore, by reading Bhagavad Gita and seeing ourselves, the way we are acting in different situations and circumstances, we should be able to accept our nature. Once you accept your nature, it's easier to do services. Okay, that's one thing. The other thing is, by reading the Bhagavad Gita as well as Srimad Bhagavatam and so on, you will start learning about the nature of God Himself. Ajopi sannam yatma bhutanam ishwaropi san, right? Krishna says in the 4th chapter, when Arjuna is saying, how is it that you spoke to sun God when you are my cousin? So he says, I've taken many births, both you and I, but you take different body. I come in the same body, so I know everything. Yeah. Right. So in chapter 9, then Krishna also discusses how he is our protector. He discusses, right? Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nitya viyuktanam yogakshema ahamiyam. Yes. So we can understand, whatever you have, I carry for you, no problem. Whatever you lack, I will cover for you. So He's willing to protect us. He's willing to guide us. Tesam sadatam yuktanam bhajadam pritipurvakam dadami buddhiyavantam yena mampaya. So I'll guide you, I'll give you the intelligence to guide you. And He's always there to maintain us. Nityo nityananam chetana chetananam. Eko bhavadi vidadati kaman. So there's only one eternal who is maintaining and protecting everyone. So the Gita allows us to understand Krishna's nature. At our point, you see, He's not an evil person or a horrible God or a vengeful God, so to speak. He's not. He's always out to take care of us. He's extending Himself way beyond even anyone would do. When we take birth in the lower form, Krishna comes with us. You become a pig, He's there with you. You're eating nonsense, He's still there with us. Yeah. So much compassion, so much mercy. So we tend to appreciate Krishna's nature. This is an amazing person who truly must love me to be with me everywhere. In all kinds of nonsense situation I go through, He's with me. And so He can allow us to do things, He can guide us, He can bring us back. Upadrastamantascha partha bhakta vaishwaram. Right? He says very clearly, I am in the hearts of all living entity. Paramatme michapi yukta desa purusho paraha. So I am the Paramatma in the heart, I am the permitter and the witness. So I see all these things. So, when we understand who Krishna is, when we understand our nature, and we understand what Krishna's purpose is for us, and what He's trying to do, we develop strength in our devotion. We appreciate Krishna going all out for us. Right? Sometimes we want to get a reference, we ask some people, and they will give some reference. But Krishna always gives the perfect reference. Yeah, because He truly loves us. Yeah. And again, towards the end of Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 18, we also get strength through surrender. Sarvadharma parityaja. What is Krishna saying? He said, let go of this material nature. Just let go. Don't hold on. Trust in me. Because I will protect you. Ma suchaha. Yeah. His His statements are emphatic, say, I won't do it. Why are you so afraid, Arjuna? Work for me, Come forward. Yeah. So you have to have faith. When you read Bhagavad Gita and practice, you must develop sufficient faith. And then faith must become stronger and not weaker. So one time Srila Prabhupada had a servant, Purushottama Das. We can read it in the Leelamrita. So in the 60s there was moon landing. So Purushottama Das was very excited by America landing on moon. So every time they talk about the moon landing, Prabhupada said they didn't go to the moon. Then Purushottama would say, Prabhupada, this is no, it's a fake. Prabhupada would say. And so one event after another event was happening, Prabhupada always smashed him about going to the moon, So once, he's a servant of Prabhupada and he is a brahmachari, so he was cooking, and then Prabhupada rang the bell, he came down running. And then there was another devotee also, Malini or someone. So they were cooking, they both ran down and was talking to Prabhupada, Then as they were talking, they forgot the flame in the pot and it was smoking, So then the smoke was everywhere. Then Prabhupada said, what is this? So they two ran up. And then after that, whatever the problem was, because the gas has blown out, and made a lot of noise, so they tried to get rid of it, and he came down and he was all, messed up. And then Yamuna or Malati came running up also when they heard the sound. Prabhupada was sitting there, Purushottam comes down with all smoke, ashes, everything. And then she says, Prabhupada, what happened? And Prabhupada looks at her, looks at Purushottam, he went to the moon. Purushottam went to the moon. And Purushottam was like, this is a lady and he's brahmachari. He said, Prabhupada, I'm a brahmachari. You're making fun of me in front of women. So Prabhupada said, that's okay, brahmacharis can go to the moon also. So he didn't like that. And then, anyway, a few days later, he came to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, I can't take this anymore. I'm leaving the Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada said, why? He said, I have conflict because, the scientists, because he's a science-oriented, says the scientists say we went to, and you are saying, Prabhupada said, no, they didn't go to the moon. It's in the scriptures and so on. But then he packed and left. Prabhupada, wished him well and he left. So later on he told Brahmananda Prabhu, he was saying, I don't mind if you don't trust me, but why doesn't he trust the scripture? Yeah, so the same way, all of you read the books, Prabhupada's books, Gita, as it is. You have to develop strong faith in the statements in the book. Nayam lokasti na paro na sukham samsayatmana. One who has no faith in the scriptures will not be happy in this life, nor in the next life. Yeah. So, otherwise we have problems. So you can only develop strength through proper surrender. Surrender to the instructions of the Guru, Acharyas, surrender to the instructions of the Shastra. Very important, yeah. Right. So we have to accept that some things are also beyond our control. You can't control everything, you can't. It's so hard to control your own mind, what to speak of controlling your children's or your husband or wife's mind. You can't, it's impossible. So you have to accept some things are beyond your control. One of the things we understand through reading the Gita is that we have to trust in the higher power or the Supreme Person. We have to trust that He is doing it for our benefit. If you don't have that trust or faith, it's very difficult to progress in this path. It's actually impossible. You won't get anywhere. And at the end of the day, before you go to bed, you must reflect on everything that has happened, and you should be grateful. Grateful for the fact that I am alive one more day. To be able to appreciate Krishna and know Him, and one more day to surrender. Yeah. So one has to be grateful. So practicing gratitude is very important. Not just to Krishna, among yourselves also. Some of you have helped others, so you have to show gratitude. The child must show gratitude to the parents, right? Like that also. And the parents must be grateful that they have a good child. Yeah, so it's important, yeah. And when things are uncertain, we find peace through faith again. Yeah. We know for a fact Krishna is our well-wisher, protector and maintainer, and therefore we shouldn't become disturbed. The world can go havoc or crazy and chaotic, but we know Krishna is always going to be our well-wisher and protector. So therefore we should have the example Srila Prabhupada gave was when there was a lot of Cold War tensions. So the devotees went to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, there's going to be war, between Russia and... Prabhupada said, that's okay. He said, Prabhupada, what should we do? We can go back to Mayapur and just chant. Yeah. So, he found peace even though there was so much uncertainty. The same way we should also see that. Right. So, in terms of service here, you should also learn to serve each other, help each other, volunteer time. Don't spend your time wasting away in some material things. Volunteer time to come and do service at the temple. Whatever you do, even if you are working in the office, just think this job has been given to me by Krishna. Try to connect Krishna in that. And if you find people, even in your workplace, suffering, show compassion. And if they ask, why are you so nice to me? Say, this is how we are. This is our practice. We are all children of God, so I cannot see another child of the Lord suffer. So when we are very kind like that, then people will respect and say, this Hare Krishna is cool. Yeah, like that. And on a daily basis, if you can, which may not be possible, but randomly you should show acts of kindness. Bake a cake for someone and say, hey, I think you're a good devotee. I want to, acknowledge that by giving you this cake or cookie. Right? Something like that. Or even in your workplace, you can bring some samosas, give your colleagues. Don't have to be Indian guys, it can be anyone. And then you can tell them, I really like you guys, what you have done in the office. I just want to acknowledge by giving you the samosas. They're like, wow, random acts of kindness, yeah. Or you can write a check for some person who's suffering in some charity. There's also nothing wrong with that, yeah. Helping someone. So let go of outcomes, focus on action, clarity and your duty at the end of the day. Therefore you find the modern lifestyle, the stress will be eased by letting go. So, in conclusion, to reduce stress, you should let go what? I've already given the answer. Let go means attachment. So let go. Let go of the result of attachment. Yeah. And then to achieve success, surrender. What else?
Detachment.
Focus on the service, and then be consistent, and the final one is cooperation. If you cooperate with one another, even if you don't achieve 100%, if you achieve 60%, you will feel you've done something. Everyone will feel, yes, you did something. Because Krishna is not interested in the 100%. He's more interested in, can you all work together? Because that's the lesson. Yeah, because we can't work with Krishna, so at least work together first. And to control the mind, you need strong intelligence, right? If the intelligence is not there, you can't control the mind. What is that? Mind, intelligence and ego. So the intelligence is higher than the mind, and the soul is higher than the intelligence. So unless the soul has good intelligence, it cannot control the mind. So what normally happens is the mind sits on top and tries to control the intelligence, and the soul becomes a fool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, the mind will be so impulsive, and you will not be able to do things properly. Just like the adults, you control the children by guiding them, and so their minds are properly situated and helps them develop intellect properly. To gain clarity in decision making, what should you do? Consult your guides, those who are wise, yeah, because they have better intellect than we have, and so they can guide us nicely. And often we can also pose a question, will this choice benefit me in the long run? Will it benefit not only me, will it benefit others as well? So that way you become more clear about the choices you make. Right? Yeah, otherwise random choices will cause a lot of problems. So any decision we make, we should ask, it's going to benefit me long term. Will it also benefit others? Will my choices hurt others? That's the other way you can look at it also. What about ethical dilemmas? What does Bhagavad Gita say? Talks about duty and dharma. Okay, that means what? Religious or righteous duty. Okay, it should be guide. That should be our guide, actually. And then in that way, the leaders will know how to balance their mentorship with those who are under them with proper action. Okay. Just like Krishna was guiding Arjuna in the battlefield. So, what does it mean? The mentors, our superiors, they should also be well versed in the Gita. And the application must be clear so that they can give clarity to those in dilemma. Well, Arjuna was facing an ethical dilemma from a mundane point of view. Yeah. But when he understood at the end of the Gita, the superiority of spiritual principles, and he said, it's okay, I now understand what you are asking me to do, because this is devotional service. It's not about me, it's about pleasing you. Okay? So that's how we can overcome ethical dilemmas. Yeah? So if you know the principles clearly from the Gita, you can help many people. uncertainty, there are so many things that are uncertain in material world. So that means there are permanent things, there are impermanent things. So we know exactly which is which. Krishna's teaching about the material nature and the spirit and karma and all that will help us build resilience as well as flexibility in making choices. Because the world is changing fast, so fast out there. And these teachings will create a better decision-making process for all of us. Okay? Alright, so 10 minutes more till 9. I will, I guess more or less, one thing you can go back and think about is which teachings in Gita you will start applying first. So these are all reflective points, because when you reflect, then you can act on it. If you don't think about it, you're not going to do anything. So therefore, start thinking, what is the one teaching that you will start? Maybe not tomorrow, but you'll start soon. It means you will start, not that you will think about it for the next 10 years. That's one thing. The other thing also you can ask, each of you can ask is, what is the one habit you will change? There may be many, but what is the one habit you would like to change and will work on it? Yeah. Right? And then another thing is, there's always conflicts among everyone. So what is the relationship you would like to heal? Right? It's not easy, right? I don't want to. Yeah. But we have to, because unless you know how to work with everyone, you cannot go back to Godhead. And then which service you will now see differently and offer it to Krishna favorably. Yeah. So you make a personal choice, a vow, and then do it. You were born with so much karma to enjoy or perform, but by the time you die, this should be minimized, and your spirituality must come up. That means you should do more spiritual activities. Okay? Alright, comments? Yes.
So we have some questions coming in from online. So Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat pranams. If an initiated devotee fails to complete their 16 rounds, does their initiation automatically get cancelled?
Well, what did their guru say? Yeah. If you're not chanting, it all depends. If you're not chanting consistently, not chanting, instead of consistently chanting, then you made a vow. The vow in front of the sacred fire is a covenant. It's a contract between the guru and the disciple, where the guru promises to guide them back to Godhead, and the disciple promises to follow those vows. And so if you break the vow, that means you're breaking the covenant, and so you have to take the reactions. Mostly the gurus are all very compassionate. So they will not say, then you are not my disciple anymore. They might chastise you. But it's good. That's the job of the guru, to correct and chastise. If you don't chant, then at least from parampara that I'm talking, is that you should make it up the next day. Okay, let's say you didn't chant 16. I believe how you cannot chant unless you're doing something amazing. But let's say you couldn't chant, but you make it up the next day. to show your sincerity. But if you do not attempt to do that, then you're not a sincere person, and automatically that connection with the Guru is lost. You are weakening the connection yourself. Ultimately, you'll just go, the material energy will come, just like waves come into the beach. As the tide comes in, the waves come closer and closer. And if you have put some toys in the beach, the waves will take them away. So in the same way, if you are not establishing a connection with the spiritual master and Krishna, Maya will slowly come and take you away back to the material realm. And you are lost in the material ocean of repeated birth and death. Okay, yes.
Talking about the chariot of the mind that we're experience on an everyday basis, how strong and powerful the mind is. You were discussing this restless, turbulent, obstinate and strong. One of the things that frustrates me personally is how much time I waste fabricating. The thing of, like, and it starts off, it's like, just a little spark, and then all of a sudden the mind just conjures up an entire story, and you get so involved in the story, but really nothing's happening.
Yeah.
And then afterwards it becomes so exhausting, so debilitating. You think, why did I do that?
Well, if you think like that, you are safe. Most people don't even remember they were wasting time thinking unnecessarily. Right? They forget, they immediately get relief. And they forget they wasted so much time and energy thinking about all the infinite number of combinations of what things can happen. Right? We are thinking like that, my boss wants to see me, what is he going to do? Is he going to beat me up? Is he going to fire me up? Is he going to reduce my paycheck? Or did someone complain that I said something? Is this a HR intervention? Right? You can see how much your mind can cheat you. Yeah. You have to be very careful. Yeah. Oftentimes when such thoughts start infiltrating my consciousness, I would just pray to my spiritual master, Prabhupada and Krishna, and say, I don't want to be in this situation. Take me, get me out, get me out. And then I'll just take the beats and chant loudly a little bit so to calm the mind down. Because it's a trapping. These are all traps to see, are you really sincere enough to focus on Krishna, or you just want to waste time, Unless you're serious enough to want to go back to Godhead, you are wasting our time. That's what material energy is saying. She's like the recruitment office here. So they do all the interviews and so on. Those who are qualified go back home, back to Godhead. Otherwise she's like the filter. Yeah, that's her service. It is her service to the Supreme Lord actually, to hold these unqualified jivatmas. Yes, Prabhu. Sarvakya. You should have all the knowledge.
Maharaj, I have a question if a person who don't know Krishna, and there is still many people, obviously every day they go through a lot of stress. Even people who knew Krishna will keep suffering, or maybe some bad habits, they try to come out of it. But still, they can't come out of it, and then there will be many people still in distressed condition. How is Krishna helping them?
Is it just devotee or non-devotees? Or all?
A non-devotee.
Non-devotees.
Even a person who is born in India, he knew Krishna.
Doesn't mean they know Krishna. Just because you're born in India, you may have heard of Krishna. Knowing Krishna means becoming a devotee, practitioner. Then you'll know.
Take myself like.
But you're practicing now. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Krishna, but yeah, not I know Krishna.
You're practicing to know Krishna. Well, you can't really know Krishna until you love Krishna. You understand? When you love someone, then you know everything about them, spontaneously. You can never know Krishna completely, but you can love him. And when you love him, he lets you know everything. Yeah. So your question is, people who don't know or don't practice, they are suffering.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do, is it?
How is Krishna helping them? Krishna is
Through the material energy. That's one way. And then the other way is through the devotees. If a person is... Most people are given the opportunity. We go on Harinam, so they hear the holy name. And by hearing the holy name, there is some level of sukriti. In general, you cannot take up devotional practice if you don't have sufficient bhakti sukriti. Okay, we call that agyata sukriti. If they don't have that, they cannot develop that sufficient faith to take up the process in the beginning. Yeah? This will take many, many lifetimes. So Krishna gives that opportunities through his devotees who will come to a person's home on the street book and say something about Krishna, give them prasadam. So that's how we elevate their consciousness. And if they are fortunate enough to get it at that time, and they come to the temple and they start reading books and take up the process, and then they quickly become a good devotee. But if they don't apply that, then it will go on for many lifetimes, where they are exposed to more and more devotees in their life, and then once they have accumulated sufficient bhakti by the mercy of a devotee, then they can take up the process. Because bhakti comes only from a bhakta. Okay? Yeah.
Maharaj, there's another question from a devotee. What is the exact meaning of complete surrender?
What is the exact meaning of complete surrender? First, surrender first. A little by little, and then you completely will give up everything for Krishna. Complete surrender is when whatever Krishna wants, however he wants it, I will do it. If he wants my life, I will give my life. Yeah. Most people cannot come to that stage in the beginning. We surrender in stages, mostly. If we can all completely surrender tomorrow or this very minute, we'll all go back to God here. But it's not possible. So, for example, someone who comes into this temple and then we tell them, chant in these beads, it's good for you, and they hear that and they accept that, that's the beginning of their surrendering process. Yeah. So complete surrender is there should be nothing in the heart anymore. Just like the gopis. Complete surrender means I would do anything for Krishna, for his pleasure, continuously, without any interruption, at my own thing. Alright, and a good example is Krishna's servant, Govinda, right? Is it Govinda? Not Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Govinda? Okay, so once he was serving Mahaprabhu lunch and so on. And Mahaprabhu was sitting in the doorway of his room and outside. So he ate and then he he just lay down on that and then he took rest. So then Govinda cleaned everything, but then normally when Mahaprabhu is resting, he will help Mahaprabhu massage his feet or something like that. And so, but Mahaprabhu was on the doorway and his feet was in the way, and normally you don't cross people over their body. And so, but he was thinking and he said, no, I have to serve the Lord. So he crossed over Mahaprabhu's body. On the other side he went and started massaging Mahaprabhu's feet. After some time Mahaprabhu woke and said, Govinda, are you still here? Didn't you go and take prasadam? And he said, no. Then he said, why? And he said, I can't cross over you, and therefore I didn't go. And so Mahaprabhu said, how did you come this side? He said, I crossed over you. Then he said, if you cross over me, then why didn't you cross back to go and have your prasadam? He said, to do service for you, I will take any risk. I will even go to hell to serve you. So therefore I crossed to serve you. But for my own senses to enjoy, I will not do these things. Yeah. So Mahaprabhu was very pleased with him. Yeah. So that is complete surrender to the pleasure of the Lord. Yeah. We give everything for the Lord. Nothing about ourselves.
There's a saying that failure is the pillar of success.
Valor.
Failure.
Failure is the pillar of success.
So failure is the pillar of success, but sometimes we see in life that it can be the opposite. That someone becomes successful, and doing what they're doing, becomes, say, giving a random example, becomes the President of the United States of America. And he said, now I'm successful. But as a result of that, so sometimes even in our spiritual life, like Krishna gives us, like we may distribute so many books or lead a nice kirtan or cook a wonderful feast, and all of a sudden that's the thing that actually takes us away
from Krishna. Yeah. Generally, whatever good qualities we have, we should immediately connect it to the spiritual master and Krishna. They have given me this ability. Yeah. Immediately we should say, when anyone comes and say, oh, you sang nice kirtan. Well, my Guru Maharaj has bestowed this mercy. And thinking of your Guru, one should be very happy. Yeah. Like that. So that way we don't become proud. Yeah. Failure is the pillar of success, means you learn from your mistakes. Yeah. Maybe business-wise, you don't make the same mistake. Okay, anything else? Yes.
Maharaj, I have one more question about the moon landing.
Okay.
So
Do you want to learn?
I do get
Our Saubhagya has gone to the moon.
I do get when I
People
get
ask
this
you,
kind of.
why would they ask you about moon landing? We're talking about Krishna consciousness.
It's just an example, but
Unless you told them about it. Unnecessarily you dig a hole and you have to fall into it. Okay, go on.
so sometimes when you keep reading, listening, I do get these kind of questions.
In your mind.
Yes, Maharaj.
Mm.
But the only belief of faith is Prabhupada can't like. So just I'm falling at that, part. But how do we overcome these kind of thoughts? I mean, and realistically, in the material world now, scientific way, we have seen the moon, the landing, and everything. But
Well, one of the things you can understand is that in terms of physics and about moon and all those things, any satellite planet has satellites, or we call that which is going around the main planet. In science, or what they call that satellite that is revolving around another main body, a big body, a moon. Every small, even a 2-mile radius or whatever chunk of rock is called a moon. So in the Vedic culture, a moon is a special heavenly planet actually. So it's called Chandra. Whereas here, whatever they say, anything that is, it's called a moon. So when we talk about the moon, we are talking about something else. They are talking about this particular planet, Yeah. That's one thing, That's one thing. The other thing is, the description in the Shastra says the moon is a planet where there are heavenly denizens. And it's a very opulent place. So when you go and land on the moon and say it's just dust and rocks, so Prabhupada says you didn't go to the moon. You understand? Yeah. If you give it another name, and then it will make more sense, That's one way of understanding it. Yeah.
Every planet has its own moon.
In terms of science and so on, they call that, like Mars has so many moons, Jupiter has like 15 moons or something like that. But from Vedic point of view, there's only one moon in this universe. Okay?
But in India, we show the pole star, Dhruva Nakshatra.
Yeah.
And again, that could be different again. I guess.
No, the pole star is in the center. Everything goes around the pole star. Now you take a motion camera, you take throughout the night, you can see there's one spot is constant, where all the other stars are moving around. I mean, again, you're looking from which geocentric, from this planet you're looking, But we are looking from upper planetary system, is a different way of seeing things also.
It just reminded me of that Mangalananda Prabhu's song, where he said now that the lyrics were, now the scientists have the answer to the problems of our race. They build billion-dollar rockets to bring rocks from outer space.
Yeah, it's kind of silly, go all the way, and they brought a lot of rocks from the moon, I don't know why. But they can't bring it to Australia. They have to go through the immigration. The customs won't let them bring moon rocks.
We do have one more. CANBERRA.
Many people say if it was in 60s, there was a moon landing. Now we are well advanced back in 2026. Why are we not having very regular missions there? Even there's no mission whatsoever practically.
Yeah. They know there's some time. But what the capitalists are doing now is they're going to send people to Mars. So all these foolish people pay them millions of dollars to go there and die. That's true. That's what it is. It's a big con. It's a big lie, and everyone will buy into it, thinking it's so cool. They go there and they die. Instead of dying here, they die in a big deal. Yeah. I die in moon. Okay? Alright, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Gaura Prabhupada.
Grace Radha Krishna Prabhu ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna everybody. So tomorrow morning as well, Prabhu will be giving Srimad Bhagavatam class starting at 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. So if you can, or actually not if you can, try to come as hard as you can. 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Hare Krishna.